Hi, Team Flyer. Welcome to another episode here at the Always Believer podcast. Happy Wednesday. Happy Go to Fly Day as well. How's it going? Oh, goodness. All right. So over here, I'm equally as excited and as happy right now to have again our beautiful and wonderful Shika.
Yay, I'm so pumped.
Hello. Hi.
Hello. I was so excited. I think we've been talking about wanting to record our conversations for so long. So to just have like a nice just sit down, chat, get into all the goods of a lot of great topics. I'm so pumped.
Exactly. I mean, so we had you on about a month ago.
Mm-hmm.
Your debut on the podcast was January 29th. So you were the fourth
Mm-hmm.
episode in. For anybody who wants to go back and check, please do. Um, and I loved it. You know, as everything that we do over here, the first episode is an introduction. So we learned a lot more about you, and that was a really
Mm-hmm.
uh, and wonderful and very raw conversation that I recommend anyone to go listen to because oh my goodness gracious.
Yeah, we got some
Seriously.
great tidbits in there. So you guys should definitely go
Yeah,
listen to
you
that if you
should.
haven't yet.
I was listening
So
to it again last night actually because like kind of a refresher as well, and I was like, oh my goodness, your story, I swear, it's such an inspiration. And you know, from now on, we're going to have a little mix, of course. We can get to like dive into a topic because that's what we're all about.
mm-hmm.
So how are you doing? First of all, how are you? How are you this beautiful Wednesday?
Good. Lots have changed since we last chatted. I'm still doing mentoring, as I mentioned last time on my last episode. YouTube has really been doing amazing. Just the community there has been fantastic. And
Congratulations.
yeah, it's just so great. And we cover all things from spirituality to manifestation through detachment, law of attraction, entrepreneurship, social media. So there's great things. It's mainly a channel for conscious creatives and conscious brand and business owners. And I think that's what makes me so passionate about it because, as you guys know, or from the last episode, I do energetic healing as well, and mentoring, and I also do many other things. So it's just so great. It's a nice little present bundled up all in one where I get to just be my authentic self and share and connect with you guys. And your comments make me so excited. So I'm really excited to bring some of the topics and just insight that I have and I've shared on there with you guys here on the podcast.
Definitely. You've also been a huge part of the Always Believer community in general and just our tribe.
Mm-hmm.
You've been on our blog a few times.
Yeah.
I've shared your very wise words. You've shared your story. You write for us different topics. You know, not only it goes beyond your story, you also tell us about like stuff about fitness and stuff about spirituality. You know, like here, as you already know, we
Yeah.
always believe we have Fitness Fridays and Spiritual Sundays. So I
Mm-hmm.
always love having your little tidbits as well. And then, like I always tell everyone that I know and beyond, that we can find you everywhere, obviously, but mainly right now YouTube because that's where
Yeah,
your
YouTube's just
main
my
thing.
jam. I love it. It's fantastic. I'm actually working on a series right now, which you guys should definitely go check and make sure you subscribe there. But it's a series, and all I'll really say, maybe we'll chat a little bit more about it in the episode on conscious traveling and growing through traveling. So that's coming up really soon. I believe like you guys you'll be starting out within the next week or two, so you should definitely keep an eye out for that. And it really just talks about like my deeper story that we're actually going to go into in this episode, and how I was able to just completely, I don't want to say like take myself apart, but that's the best way of explaining it. Take myself apart, like kind of tweak and dust every cranny of it and put it back together in a better version, in the best version I can not even like think of myself. And yeah, it's just really, really great. There's some good times, there's some not so great times. It's all the ups and downs about life. And you guys get to come along on that journey with me. So definitely we're seeing, I don't think there's such a series like this that has been posted documentary wise or video wise. So yeah, I'm really excited for that.
It is absolutely wonderful. I know our audience, if you're new, Shika and me are friends, so we talk often.
Yeah,
And
like
if
literally
you're
every day.
exactly, and if you're not new, you see us often talking to each other
Yeah.
and promoting our stuff because, we're all about a community here and cheering each other on. So I do know a little bit behind the scenes of what's coming up. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and I think we're all about like just helping everyone out too. Like I do post a lot about you and other people like Emily and whatnot, but I'm all about connecting with you guys as well. Like please feel free to reach out to us and tell
Yes,
us what you're doing with your projects, so we can support you because, like I said, we're all in this space doing the same thing in our own ways. But what better way to make a really big impact than working together? So we're all
I
about collaboration.
exactly. Completely and totally. We're always here. We always have our door open. Just DM us, email us. I mean, we're easy to find and we're very cheerful as well.
Very much so.
So let's go on to today's topic, my
Yeah,
darlings.
let's do it.
Today we decided to talk about manifestation.
My favorite word.
I know, right? We've
I'm
been
all
on
about that.
fire lately. Well, lately, and I feel like in my personal life forever. But let's just get cracking. And
Yeah.
what does it mean? How would you describe manifestation?
Yeah, so manifestation, I just want to say it has been a word that has been used everywhere. And I think we talked about this like weeks ago, how
Yeah,
like
we
it's
did.
just popping up on YouTube, it's popping up everywhere. People are talking about it. And I
The whole
just really want
2020
to,
thing, really.
yeah, it's like, what's
Kingdom.
the word of the year? It's manifestation, which like for all in all, to each his own. But here I really want to get you guys and myself like really educate you guys on what exactly does that word mean and where like how you can use it to your own liking on a daily basis. So when it comes to manifestation, and I'm actually reading the book called The Power of Now, which I love, 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 love. It's such a good book.
Preach.
Yeah, such a good book.
Preach.
And I'm reading it with audio as well, so just hearing the actual author speak his words, it's just so much more powerful. But there was this really great example that he showed on just like inner self that kind of had a little innuendo of what manifestation means. And it's basically him walking downtown, just going to paint the picture for you guys. And he sees a guy who's homeless and he's sitting on a box. And the guy who's sitting on the box, and this is like the first story to really just give you an idea how good this book is the first story he opens up the first chapter with. So he's sitting on this box, and it's an older guy who, is homeless. And he asks, "Do you have money?" And he says, "Well, you have a box there. Have you looked inside that box?" And the guy says, "No, why would I look inside that box? This is an old ratty box. There's no need to look inside that box." So, anyways, he continues to push him to do so. And eventually the guy opens the box and he sees there's gold inside of it. So, this analogy really comes down to like the box being a metaphor of your inner self, and that there's so many finds and treasures and answers that we can find within ourselves that I feel like we don't give ourselves credit for, or we don't take the time of day to search more of that on a daily basis. So when you look into manifestation, before you even look at that word, I think it really comes down to, are you on this continuous journey, whether it's good or bad or whatever you find in that box? Maybe you don't find gold. Maybe you find coal instead. Maybe you find something disgusting in that box. But facing and cleaning it out and being able to treasure and create that box as basically your temple, I think is something to take into consideration. So that's number one. Before even looking at the word of manifestation, before even speaking about the word, there's a lot of inner work that needs to be done. And in doing so, then you can use the word manifestation. Then you can manifest things in life. And when you're looking and going back to your question, what manifestation means, it's really allowing yourself to attract what you perceive yourself to be, as well as what you perceive people to think of you. And I know that sounds really crazy, but we'll get more into that. So basically, for example, if you're telling yourself, I can, just because I know a lot of people here are business people, I'm a business person, I really want to get 4 people to mentor for my business. But in your inner self, you feel like, oh, I don't know if I can. I don't know if like is my pricing good? Do I have enough to offer? Do I have an experience? All of these inner things that come within yourself. If you're telling yourself that, but you're projecting verbally that you want to manifest those for people to inspire their life and change their life, then it doesn't correlate. So there's so many different parts of manifestation that needs to be taken into consideration. And,
Exactly.
I think that's just something to keep in mind before we get into all of the good stuff that we want to share with you guys. But yeah, before you attract what you want in life, before you say or write your script, if you will, of what you want, you need to do that inner work. And that is something that is done continuously. So just a little thing about that I wanted to share with you guys.
On my behalf, definitely. Yeah, we did talk about it. We talked about a whole 2020 kind of like a vision boards everywhere, manifestations everywhere. I feel like the
Mm-hmm.
year it's a huge one for a lot of people, just as a whole. I
The
luckily
energy
grew
is
up.
crazy.
Yeah. Oh gosh,
Crazy.
yes.
Yeah, like
I
January was such a crazy month, right? Like we had Kobe Bryant that passed away. We had what's her name? Sorry, Billie Eilish just killing it with bringing music and taking the rawness and authentic
yeah.
storytelling of mental health. We had the Australian fires. We had three earthquakes, well, an earthquake affecting three places all within 1 month. And then we also have just so much pressure of things for people and energetically that they want to manifest in this new year while living in a media era. That's just so much. So, yeah, I'm hoping that you guys are able to do that inner work, not only for yourself, but for the sake of humanity, to be honest with you at this point, because we just need a little bit more good vibes.
I
Yeah.
agree.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, exactly. Like, even though we did talk about it from my personal experience, I luckily grew up with a mom who was all about this and all about the power of now and the secret. And so, for as long as I could remember, I always had it with me and within me. So, that's a
Mm-hmm.
huge plus on my behalf. And that's probably a humongous part of how I got to where I am today. Because I mean, I'm not going to explain a lot more of manifestation, so you did a wonderful job doing that for our listeners.
No, but it's great to hear from you, like your perspective, because I
Yeah, definitely. I
honestly,
mean,
like, you have so much knowledge about that space, and I think that's where we grew our friendship, to be honest. Because I, like, obviously coming from the media background, I really, advanced in that, and you advanced in the spiritual space, and we ended up both kind of flipping and swapping where we were focusing on at the same time, and being able to teach a lot. So I think you have a
yeah.
great say on that. Yeah.
So, yeah, I was just talking like definition wise. You did a really good job definition wise of what it means. And the best thing about what you were saying that I always point out is, it's inner work, it's inner love. It starts with yourself. It's so important to people for people to know that it starts within yourself. Because one thing, what you were saying, you're right. Like one thing is like, oh, I want to manifest for people to mentor, or I want to manifest, $1 million. Yep. However, much like what you said, you have to have your high vibrations and your energy in the right place.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something that obviously it's not easy. I've had my highs and lows with all
Yeah.
that because we live in a society that it's full of doubts. It's
Mm-hmm.
ridiculously full of doubts, and it just makes you it
It's a
makes you
crazy
fall
world.
down. It makes you fall down countless times. You're like, seriously, I can get back up, and you're like, yes, hun, you can, and you will.
Yeah.
So once you do all that and go through a process of breaking free and knowing what you really want, that's when the magic starts happening.
Mm-hmm.
um we can lead right now into a little bit of like tips or ideas or ways that you can make your manifestation come to
For
life.
sure.
And the
Yeah.
first one I can think of was what you were saying, choose what you want to manifest, of course, like you were
Yeah.
saying with like the book and like the box, of course, or the four mentors. And
Yeah.
be clear. Like for me, anytime I think of something, I need to have like my set space, my set like sacred space, which doesn't have to be like a certain corner of my room of my house or whatever. Like I can easily be in bed thinking about it, or I can easily be at the gym thinking about it. Like I just had to be like in that kind of, for at least for me,
Yeah.
everyone's different obviously.
For sure.
And one thing's for sure, anytime I think and I imagine something, I feel it like if I already have it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like all the emotions, like how am I feeling, how what am I smelling, What am I
Yeah.
wearing? What is my surroundings? Like, the more specific you are, the better. And
Hmm.
I feel like that's something that people also need to know, obviously.
For sure. No, I agree. I think one thing too, as far as the more technical way of how manifestation works, is the universe will only give you what you want, right? And what you're directly communicating with them, right? So for me, one of the things I got from a really good friend who's quite advanced in that space was that she was saying that she sticks to two things that she like two mantras that kind of go towards that manifestation, what she wants to manifest, and every single day when she recites them she switches them because as humans we change, but it's very specific. There's either one or two things that you're focusing on, and whatever you put your energy towards, the more you'll see that develop. Even though it feels like it's not going anywhere, you'll notice that it will develop as you grow. So I think that's one thing, is just like you said, focusing on one thing, whether it's a new job, whether it's romance, whether it's a new house or place that you want to move to, or money, whatever it is. You need to kind of be clear to yourself and also to what the universe can provide in order for you to see that. I think that's like a very important thing. And going on the tips as far as manifestation, one of the things I think is very that really heightened my ability to really say what I do and do what I say is visualization. So
Exactly.
visualizing on a daily basis is what I do. So because we talk about this all day, all every day. In the morning, the
All
first thing
day, every day, babe. All
all
day,
day,
every day.
literally all day, every
Every
day.
day.
It's like WhatsApp or like chatting. We're always talking. So like either way, like one of the things I first do when I wake up, what does everyone want to do? Scroll on their phone. Am I perfect? No, I try not to. That's not the first thing I try not to do. And social media, being in the space of social media, I am used to it, but it's crazy. The more I'm in it, the more I stay away from it, and I'm able to put those boundaries now that I've adapted such a routine and a regiment for my wellness. So when I wake up, for you guys who don't know, I'm a Reiki practitioner. So I love it. It's amazing. And I do that the first time I wake up for at least 10 minutes. I give myself self love. I make sure I'm aligned. If I feel like there's an off in some part of my body or an old thought, an old habit, I change my process, because even that one thought is going to change my energy, the way I talk to people when I'm mentoring them, the way I am on my videos on YouTube when I record them, the way I am with you or anything. It's going to change that vibe. So I do that first. And then what I do after I've given myself at least 20 to 30 minutes to be in silence with my thoughts, because I know it's so easy to just put a meditation phone or whatever music on. But what really has changed it for me is being in silence with my thoughts, because there's nothing distracting you, right? How many times in the day are you not distracted? We're continuously thinking about what we need to do, the bills we need to pay, the things we have to do for work, picking up the kids. There's just so much that we continuously think about that we don't even know we're thinking of. So I challenge you guys to take a moment just for 10 minutes to be in silence. Nothing at all. Find a corner, hide yourself in a pantry if you have kids, like do something that you're able to just stay still for a few minutes and just don't do anything. Um, and you will be amazed about the thoughts that you thought that weren't there that are actually there. And then ask yourself, how can I change those thoughts? How can I bring in visualization to push those thoughts, to change those old habits? And then that's when I kind of close my eyes and meditate with those thoughts and change it and visualize how I can revert that, how I can change that. And daily, day by day, like taking your vitamins, you'll start to see changes. You'll start to say the changes of the words you use, the things you do, the judgment that you use in the world. All those things will start to evolve. And yeah, that really changed my ability to manifest anything that I wanted, was just tapping into my subconscious in silence before even putting that meditation music on, before even writing what I want to script or what I want to do. So yeah.
I I agree, obviously. I know we talked about it way back when, that for me, and then also for you then, mornings are sacred. I
Oh
feel
yeah.
like I love waking up early. I'm an early bird, not a night owl. That's one thing. But aside from that, um, I love waking up early and just being in my own space. And before I start my day, no matter what I have during the day, and it could be a relaxing day, it doesn't even matter. Like, I take that time for myself, and it's so
Hmm.
important. I
And
meditate a lot. I tell me
mhm.
my love.
I was gonna say I was just gonna mention that reminded me of another book I was reading, and I mentioned it before, the 5 a.m. Club. And one thing I learned from him is like people always make the excuses and not being able to wake up early. And I know some of you guys who are listening probably work a schedule like Monday to Friday. I would challenge you guys to wake up just even 30 minutes earlier if you can. And
Exactly. You took the idea
um,
out of my head. You're
sorry.
exactly. It's all
I was
right.
like, ooh, we're like telepathically just mentioning it. But I was just going to say, like, that is so important. It's like waking up early, and yeah, it's going to be hard, and your body's going to be like, go back to sleep. But once it hits after 2 weeks, it's going to become a routine, just like your everyday of eating and
It
drinking and all that
does.
stuff,
That's
right?
exactly
So,
where I was leading to.
yeah,
Exactly, exactly. Because that's what happened with, well, with me, with anybody I know. Actually, like it's not easy waking up at 5 in the morning. It's not easy waking up.
no.
Like, no,
It's
it's just no.
not. Yeah, there are days where you're like, I just want to sleep in, or you go to bed a little bit later and you're exhausted. But think about it. You're waking up at a time when there's not a lot of people up, so automatically there is less distractions.
Exactly, and
Um,
there, and this, it's what you said. There's silence. No matter what house you have,
oh yeah,
for the most part, 90% of us, your house is going to be silent at 5 o'clock in the morning. You're just going to be utter and complete peace. And that's just one of the best things that you can give yourself as well.
hmm,
And much like I was going to say as well, you were saying, just either challenge yourselves to wake up a little bit earlier, because there's like, it's so frustrating to just wake up late, throw the first clothes you have on, not even have breakfast and rush out the door. And then like what you were saying earlier, the rest of the day just kind of goes, eh.
yeah,
Whereas if you take your time a little bit, and it doesn't have to be half an hour, you don't have to start with half an hour, you start with 15 minutes and go little by little, of course.
yeah,
However, at some point of the day as well, just have those moments of just releasing um,
yes,
whatever it is that you're going through as
yes.
well, because that's always going to help you with manifestation, simply
I
because
love
you're going to
that.
be clear.
Hmm.
We absorb so many things throughout our day, things that we are a conscious of and b not conscious of, like
Yeah.
things that things we see on the screen. And even if you're on the subway, because I've lived in a big city for a long time, so you're on the subway, you
Hmm.
see like a million what's it called, like things on TV.
Skyscrapers
Well,
or stuff.
skyscrapers as well, but like on in the
Oh,
subway, like
billboards.
yeah,
Billboards. Yeah.
billboards,
Yeah.
like all these images that you see from a subway, from even when you're driving down a highway and you see them, or anywhere else, those things stick to
It's
you one way or
absorbed.
another. So
Yeah.
allow yourself moments to release
Hmm.
in order for your mind to be clear as well.
I love
um
that. And I think also, just like on that note, and I think your listeners would appreciate this, meditation can be a form of a thing that you do throughout the day.
yeah,
And that
exactly.
is something that I've learned from Chopra. He says that he's
Hmm.
always in the state of being. And this doesn't happen overnight. Obviously, he's been doing this for years. But one thing that I've kind of took into and tweaked into my own personalized way of routines is I'll be maybe having 8 calls or meetings, and even if I get a call that's 15 minutes earlier, I give myself 10 minutes out of that 15 minutes to breathe, to release anything that, and this is something I want to share with you guys too. Like, if someone's energy is off, that affects you as well, right? So sometimes if I
Exactly.
have a call with 4 people and one out of the 4 people is having a bad day, and even though I'm being positive and upbeat, that's a lot of energy for me to bring that person up, right? So what do? I make sure I check in with myself for 10 minutes to bring myself back to where it needs to be and to release all of that. And we need to release like little things, like you said, whatever you're seeing at the subway, interactions with strangers, those things affect
Exactly.
us.
You reminded me as well, because you and me are very social people, period. We were introverted as well, but our job
Yeah.
personalities, we talk to a million people a day. We talk to a lot of people,
Yeah.
and it's absolutely
I'm
wonderful because
all,
we love it.
yeah.
However, a lot of people don't. They sit in front of a computer all day, or they I
Hmm.
don't know, they don't have to interact with as many people as us.
Yeah.
And
I'm very like introverted too, though. Like sometimes I just
even
need to not see
though,
anyone.
oh yeah, that's the whole subject of its own, believe me.
We could talk about that another
But
time, but that's good.
what I was saying was, even though you have a certain type of job or a lifestyle that you don't interact with as many people as us, because your example
Oh
was, oh,
yeah.
I have 4 calls, and I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I understand you. Even if you don't have that, you your feelings and thoughts are still valid, and you still
Yeah.
need 10 minutes to release, because
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you're staring at a screen all day or if you're staring or you're just doing
A
labor,
great.
like you still like that's
Mm-hmm.
the point. Like no matter what it is that you do throughout the day with a million people or just
Sure.
yourself, you
Yeah.
still need time to step away from your work
Even
area
like
and what you're
honestly
doing.
though, like even just talking to your partner, talking to your kids, you have a service job where you're just in a workplace, at an office job where you're talking to your colleagues, like these are all everyday things. The simplest thing is going to your everyday coffee shop, that can make an interaction, or just the energy there too. So again, allow yourself to breathe. Like me and her always, we always send each other messages saying don't forget to breathe, and like
Mm.
I actually love that because, it just reminds me, oh, yeah, I have to be present. I need to stop
Yeah.
thinking. And we live in this society, which comes back to manifestation, that we always have to be busy. Like the hustle lifestyle is like considered a good thing, which, yes, but, actually, if you're considering that you're always busy, 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 are you actually busy though? Are you actually productive? So, what we usually do as well is allowing ourselves to have those boundaries for ourselves, as well as our work and other things in our life. So, we have more space in our mind to
Mm.
manifest, to think about, how do we feel, to think about what we need to release. And that has definitely increased overall my productivity in all aspects of my life, because now I'm not feeling like I'm not getting things done. You know what I mean? And then, when by the time I'm ready to manifest something or have that time of silence, I'm just so exhausted that I can't presently be with that thought.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think that's like one thing
That's
to
a
think about
good
too.
leeway for my next tip actually, which is
Yeah,
we've mixed and matched throughout the conversation as we always do, but one of them that I always have to say is like get rid of things that stand in your way as well. And that
I love
has
that.
that like that comes in different ways, shapes and forms. So what I'm talking about is like get rid of not only material things I'm not talking about specifically, but also like negative beliefs, toxic people, just anything that you don't vibe with.
Hmm.
Show it to the door and kick it out basically. So
Yeah, I agree with that. I think
exactly, like
one thing
just
as well. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, it's all
Maybe
right,
like
love.
both are like feeding off each other.
No, it's all
I
good.
was like, wait, what? I'm sorry. I'm like, good point. I have an idea.
I feel like next time, because when we're recording, like I think our audience doesn't know this, but we're recording this and we're seeing each other through video. So I feel like next time we say like we're gonna raise our hand and be like, wait, I'm next. Wait, my turn.
Oh my god! But this is us on a daily though. We'll be like, "Oh my gosh, I got a great idea!"
I know. Like, wait a second, wait a second,
Cute.
like, let me hear. I'm like, all right. And then all of a sudden we're like just like writing notes and taking notes. It's just like, yes, this one and that one.
Oh my gosh. What I was going to say, it reminds me of you can get rid of physical things too, because I think
Yeah, of
sometimes we
course.
hoard things
Definitely.
because
Oh
we're
my gosh,
emotionally
yes.
connected to.
Yes.
And like, I am a fault of this as well. Clothing. I am in the process of wanting to throw out one garbage bag a month of clothing that doesn't energetically serve me anymore. And it could be that pair of leggings that you like that have holes in it, but they're just super comfortable. And you're like, well, I'm trying to make some kind of like logical reason why I should have those leggings. That's me. So I need to
Fucking
throw out
literal.
those leggings. I can make room in my life, both mentally and visually, like going back to
Seriously though,
visualization and
like
manifestation.
always believers, like my team flyer over here, our community. You came here for the truth. Leggings with holes in them,
No,
but they're
it's
comfortable.
true though. It's so true. Like it's like you guys must have a shirt or something that's just on its last leg, but you're just so in denial that you can't throw it. You might have to throw that shirt out to like let new things
Exactly.
in. So it's not only just like mental declutter, but it's
Yeah, of
also
course,
like
of course.
spatial declutter, and I think that to me makes a big difference. And I'm not going to get there right away, but one of my goals is to get to a point where not minimalistic, but there is minimal stuff in our area where I don't have to think so much about this clutter of things that I just don't know how
Oh,
they serve me on a
preach.
daily basis. It takes time. It does take time, but at least putting in those goals to throw out one bag a month helps a lot. And that I think is very big, is getting rid of
I
those things and getting rid also emotionally. Like,
exactly.
I think that's one of the biggest things. And for me personally, and I actually just released a video on this in YouTube about this, but my experience with my sexual assault. So that for me was something that I had to release in order for me to serve other people, for me to heal, in order for me to serve people as a mentor. And that happened in a sense that I was holding on to it, feeling like it made me who I am, like it was part of my identity. And I'm sorry to take it all on a serious note, but
I
it
know,
is true.
right?
Like you guys
Let's
are
just
like,
dive in.
yeah, there is like things that happen, right? Whether it is that you've experienced what I have, whether you've had or uneven abusive relationship, if you've gone through a lot through your childhood, whatever things that I don't think a lot of people take into consideration and stop life to invest in their health, man, it makes a big difference. Is it easy? No, it's not easy. It's never easy. And I'm still in the process of still cleaning out. And that's going to continue until one day I wake up and I'm like, yes, I'm satisfied with that. Humiliation is completely does not exist. Judgment does not exist, but that takes time. So for me, it's really interesting to kind of get rid of those things, and it's hard. And what that does is when you get rid of something so big, such as what I've just shared with you guys, and such as assault or whatever it may be, it feels and leaves you empty. And that's the part where people either continue to go in the right direction or they find a way to fill their void. And that's the part that's going to really show your strength will. And keep in mind, all of us, you, myself, like we all aren't working towards our full capacity. Like we don't even know what we're able to do, right, until we're in that survival mode. Have you ever had a time where you're like, you literally are just so desperate and it's either life or death, whether it's like finances or getting a job or about to miss that flight or whatever it is, and you just get that adrenaline that you just have to make it, and what happens, you always make it. So that's the exact same thing. If you can surpass that void, that feeling of emptiness, and fill it with what you want to attract in your life,
There we go.
in time it's just going to allow you to attract more abundance. And with that, you're going to want to declutter more. You want to get rid of things. When things don't align with you, you will know right away.
You'll know right
And
away. Like
yeah.
I loved everything you share, and thank you for sharing something so personal. You know, you've shared it before on our
Hmm.
blog for the Go to Fly story. Once again, you can find it at thealwaysbeliever.com. Just at the search bar, write Chica, and there she is. But going back into manifestation and things like that, when I was saying about declaring, it's any single way, shape, or form. It's not only material stuff, of course. It's also like anything else that you have within you. Talking
Yeah.
about material stuff, I love being minimalistic. I feel like I've moved. I keep moving. I'm gonna. I don't have a house yet. In other words, I've been moving all my life since I was like 6 months old. So, um, for me, material things are they're easier for me to let go of.
Oh yeah.
But when it comes back to something more in depth, like you were saying, because I've also been sexually assaulted, and yeah, and it's much like you said, it's a really hard road to get back up and to
Oh yeah.
get that clear mindset. And the
Yeah.
way, I mean, I've had this happen to me when I was a child, when I was a teenager, and then I broke loose like I was about 20, 21, so about 10 years ago, more or less. So I've had a lot of time to heal, thankfully. And the best thing about it, because I have to make a positive spin out of my life, because that's the only way that I'm gonna get up and go and continue living the best version of myself possible, is it made me let go and made me like what you said. I have
Release.
space, exactly. And now I have space in my life to attract everything I always wanted and everything I knew I
Hmm.
always deserved. And it continues.
Yeah.
So it's once again, I've gone through those hard moments, not only because I've been sexually abused, but also like through a lot of different things in my life that you all know about. And if
Hmm.
you're new, then we'll we'll catch up soon, I promise. But
Yeah.
you're plenty like you can find me basically online anywhere, and you hear my story, and it's my about page as well. But anyways, um sincerely, it's that, like what you said, it just allows you to have that space for something that's more positive than anything else before. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, in other words, people, my loves, my dear team flyer, get rid of things that stand in your way.
Yeah, just do it. It's gonna be so rewarding, and don't fall for that void. Like, try not to get the support you need.
Exactly. Always reach out. Always reach out. I
Yeah,
mean, that's where in my particular case, that's where the name comes from, as you already know. Always believe, because that's what I always knew. Like, always believe
yeah,
there's someone out there that's better for me. I always believed that I needed to be somewhere else that's better. Like, I had that light. I see the light. It's asking for it and the whole procedure. Which once again, my lovely team flyer, I feel like this is going to be a topic for another day, a little bit thoroughly.
yeah.
Um, and going back once again to manifestation and wrapping this up in this kind of particular way, I do want to say
Mm-hmm.
one of our favorite words for myself, and all my friends know, including Shika, is
Yeah,
is thank you, is being thankful and appreciating what you have. I am
yeah,
such, like, if you know me, you know that every single day I'm thankful for everything and anything. And I ask random, I'm the typical person that I'm just going to randomly text you, brief, I can randomly text you, what are you thankful for, and I can randomly just, I love you and have a beautiful day, you can
yeah.
do this. Like, those for me are really key words, and being thankful for me, because I've gone so from a really bad part in my life to, like,
Mm-hmm.
to where I am today, which I'm very blessed.
Mm-hmm.
Just super thankful. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna get emotional here. So because it's something that's so important to remind ourselves and each other to appreciate what we have.
Mm-hmm.
The more you appreciate everything. Now, you can be all general about it. You can be like, oh, I appreciate my husband and my wife and my dog and my kids. Like, that's great. That's wonderful. And I love it. Be specific. You appreciate the water you drank today. You appreciate the bed you had today. You appreciate that on your way to work, you heard a funny joke on the radio, for
Yeah.
example, something like that. And the more you appreciate, the more life and the universe is going to give you love
100%.
and joy and all the things you want, because you're appreciating what you have today in order also to make space of what's coming for you.
I have actually a great story about that. So for you guys, like obviously you see the end result. You've seen the story on the Always Believer website of everything from me being able to create one of the leading creative tours in North America, being a mentor, being published, a lot of great stuff that I'm so grateful for. But the part that you don't see is the struggle that I've went through the past 4 years. And that's everything from only having, only a few bucks to pay for my bills, and my bills are coming like only, whether a week or whatever, and figuring out how am I able to make this through. But I knew I was living my purpose. I knew that I had to go through this, and this was all allowing me and making me stronger in order for me to get to where I need to. I remember having one time that I was stuck in a city because I literally could not afford to get back home and I needed a flight home. And I sat there and I was already really grateful every day, but I was grateful for everything. I went to the coffee shop, but I remember going through my purse and like getting changed just enough money to like get a coffee that can hold me off till 5. And I was drinking that coffee and I was like, thank you so much to the girl in Tim Hortons. And she was like, oh my gosh, like obviously she just went through a breakfast rush, but I was just so grateful. Someone opened the door. I was like, thank you so much. So grateful. Turns out that night, literally at midnight, I ended up having someone that I connected with that said that they were following along with my journey and really wanted to have me be their mentor. And it turned out with that, as well as also being hosted by someone I met that was like, oh, you're really cool. Let's host you, stay an extra night in the city and host you. Yet did they know I was struggling and didn't even have a place to stay that night. And I remember crying myself to sleep with joy, being so grateful because I had just enough money to get me to the airport, fly me home, and get me to my house. And I was so grateful. So again, it doesn't have to be that extreme, but what I'm just saying is if you're grateful for the smallest things, and be specific. Like sometimes, like I said, like it'll be like my tea this morning. It could be that book I read. It could be, the hug that I got with my partner, like whatever it may be. Like just be specific with what you want, because someone is listening. Like there is something
Yes.
there. There is always support for you, and you cannot always see it, but the universe will never, they always protect you. They might not give you everything you want right at front, but even when you are manifesting something, it's completely yours. It's just a matter of time. And the more you take that inner work, the more you work on yourself, the faster those things will come. Time does not really matter at that point. It's just what you want to do and how you want to work for yourself, and how fast you want to go at the pace that's right for you to work on yourself. So it's just something I want to let you guys know. Like it's something that has helped me, and a lot of successful people out there, gratitude is really what helped them out, even when they were at the worst of the worst to the best of where they are today. And I'll continue to be grateful, and I continue to keep that modest mentality,
Mm-hmm.
because I think that's important in order for you to continue to attract and to continue being abundant, both financially, you know, um, lovingly, and all different aspects of your life.
Without a single doubt. Definitely.
Yeah.
Once again, thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah,
And
I
all
think
the
it's
stories
something
you
that a lot of
share.
people don't know. Like it's something, and a lot of us don't talk about it, like it's,
I
we
agree.
all know where you guys are coming from. And if you guys are just starting out and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't even know like, I'm feeling so stuck, just get past that, keep
Yeah,
working,
keep
but
going.
please
Keep on keeping
add
on.
gratitude. Like keep adding
Yes.
gratitude. Also put in a routine that's important, like we mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the last thing too that I want to just like really tie everything together is, you need to put the action. You need to put action in there. And what you want. You can't just expect to sit down, close your eyes, meditate all day and expect for it to come. You need to put the goals in. You need to hold yourself accountable. You need to get the support when needed. You need to invest in yourself. And in doing so, then you're going to see the growth. But investing in yourself can be time, it could be getting the support, whatever way that you want to define that. But I do think that that's important. And there is that 50-50 split where there are the people who are working hard, but they're not spiritually and soul connected with what they're doing. And that's why they're not able to surpass what they want to manifest. And then there's the other side where people are fully soul and like manifesting and everything, but they're not putting the action. It's, time to stop dreaming and starting to put that in.
Exactly. That's
So you can't be one or the other. You need a balance, and remember that success with a human or whatever you want to do in life, whatever you're doing, it could be any job that you have, or anything that fulfills you on a day-to-day basis. Remember, it's not just soul, it's not just body, and it's just not mind and working hard. It's all of them intertwined, and you have to balance them, which considers, daily practice, of course.
exactly. I do agree with the routine. I agree with being thankful, of course, and having set things that you do every single day in order for you to make your goal happen without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, definitely work for it. I've had people from all different sides and walks of lives, of course, and then I have people like what you just said that are super spiritual, yet they still live in a really they're still in a rough spot, but because they don't put the work in. Whereas I have kind of the opposite as well. The thing is what you were saying, and another favorite word of mine is balance, of course, and it's balance between those three realms of mind, body, and soul. And all that includes discipline, lots of discipline, inner love, patience, lots of patience, and
Oh
lots of
yeah,
lots of everything
that's
of these
so
three that I'm mentioning
important.
right now. And definitely go for like work for it, because one of the main things that I do want to communicate here with our community and the Always Believer is um the struggle behind the story. Like I'm not going to paint you like, oh, my life is freaking perfect. Like, even though you're seeing me in a whole different aspect of where I was a few years ago, still,
Mm-hmm.
like, we still have everyday struggles, we still have everyday, stuff that we have to go through, and we want to be as real and as open as possible. And that also includes our backstory, because yeah, we just started, at least in my particular case, I just started the podcast a couple months ago. But you're gonna hear my backstory a little bit as well that I love to share,
Yeah.
because people need to hear it. That you're like, oh, look at them, like they got like so much done. I'm like, yeah, but you worked so hard for it. So manifestation
Mm-hmm.
is the perfect balance of working hard, because no matter how much I manifest that house I always wanted, like I said previously, I moved around all my life, and
Yeah.
I've never had a house, which I mean, I know it's not like a thing that you must have, but like you want
The
to have
feeling of home.
exactly, there you go.
Yeah.
That's what you have to have. Not the house per se, but just the feeling of home. So that's
Yeah,
what we're working up for. And I'm like, okay, I manifested. I know what I'm wearing. I know where I'm going to be living. I know what I'm going to be smelling. I know that the sun is going to be shining because I'm Latin. No, I just love the sun.
no, tell me. I
No.
don't. I'm allergic to winter, so
Because you're Canadian. And for the people who don't know, she lives in
yeah,
constant winter in Canada.
yeah. But like to
But
be fair though, like I'm like trying to get away as much as possible. So
as well. But not
yep.
only it's all that, it's also showing up for myself.
Yeah,
And my way of showing up is like we said before, is that discipline is getting up early, is having my me time, is working towards what I want. Whereas it may be this
exactly,
podcast, whereas me mentoring people, whereas be coaching people, whereas being reading cards, whatever it may be, it's showing for myself
hmm
to make sure I get there. And meanwhile, every single day you have that constant of like that house, that house, that house. For example, out of like the million things you can actually want to manifest, because it's everyone's different.
for sure.
So yeah, for kind of sort of last before we wrap things up, I also want to talk to you a little bit about the signs that we can
Yeah,
look for,
sure.
things like that.
Yeah,
This is a little quick tidbit, 5, 6, 7 signs or two, what does it matter?
yeah.
Of I don't even know how to like ask right now, but like how do we see those signs? Like how do we see things manifesting?
For sure. I think the first one is synchronicity is a big thing for me, and I talk about it a lot on my YouTube channel. I talk about it a lot on Instagram. You guys will see me post angel numbers all the time, and if you guys aren't familiar with angel numbers, it's really just a sequence of numbers such as 444, 222, 1010, 111, all of those numbers that you might tend to see often. And the more that you notice it, the more they'll come and talk to you. And what that means is it's really ways that, dimensionally, if we go more in the spiritual route, how our guides are able to communicate with us. And there's so many ways of like learning about what that means, right? So 111 could be new beginnings. It could be things coming to you. It could be that you're on the right track and you're kind of like surpassed the spiritual awakening and you're going in the right place. So I think that's one of the biggest ways of how to do that. And it could be like the number that you look on your phone. It could be the page of the book that you're reading. It could be in a license plate. And you can ask them actually for signs too. Like if you feel like you're really lost, just be like, I really would love a sign. And you might notice that there is a number sequence there and you can research and look it up or even check out the channel if you guys want to learn a sign that you want to see. Um, but that's probably one of the biggest things for manifestation. It just allows me to guide from a place where I don't see those signs. I don't know if I'm going the right way, or maybe I see a lot of things are going on, but I'm like, okay, am I working in my truest purpose? Am I working in where my authentic self? So I think that's one of the first things. And I think another thing with manifestation as well is um, writing and scripting and writing your goals. So scripting and
Mm-hmm.
writing goals could be anything from a vision board, it could be anything. But one thing I would really suggest you doing is in your routine, in the morning, between the time that you wake up is the time where you have kind of a lot of things going on. You're waking up, your fear hormone is the highest. There's just so many things that are going on when you're waking up. So the way to combat that, to set you up for success, is to kind of allow yourself to bring in intentions in your day. So what I like to do is write down, 2 to 3 things that I want to succeed over the course of the day that are realistic, and two things or one things that I am manifesting. Going back to what I mentioned before, those mantras that you want to repeat in your meditation or in that time of silence. And then when you go to bed, that's the time where the last things that you say, the last things that you see, is going to affect your day tomorrow and affect the manifestation process. Because as your brain is resting, it's processing all the things you saw on that subway, all the things people told you. So that's why we're saying release when you can, so that when you are ready to go to bed, you can recuperate that energy. You can manifest those things more, because that's how you manifest quicker. So I think that's one thing as well, is just making sure that you're able to script that. And scripting, If you guys want to learn about that, again, I do videos on that. But scripting, in short, what it means is writing everything that you want to manifest in present. And I like to put the date at the top and put gratitude at the top because, gratitude attracts as well, and being grateful and being thankful for what you want to come without it coming yet, like as if it's happening, and connecting that emotion and connection with it before it comes. So then, everything is riding on the thought and riding on the emotion that you already have it. So you're going to continuously attract more of it, if that makes sense. So I think those are the main things that have been really helping me up a lot, along with the other ones that we saw, like decluttering and getting rid of the old and all that stuff, but really just making sure that I'm holding myself accountable. I'm not just putting a vision
Exactly.
board and being like, okay, it's going to happen. Like, no, you got to
Bye.
do the day-to-day work. Yeah,
Exactly.
like it's not like, oh, pretty
Show
vision
up,
board.
people. Show up
Yeah,
for
you have to
yourself.
show up. You put it in a place that you see. You do it every single morning, every night. You take that 5 minutes instead of scrolling on social media, and you take that time for yourself. And I think, again, that just allows you to be more present. It allows you to be conscious, and it allows you to just feel like you are living your best life and your fulfilled life beyond manifestation with anything in intention. You need to live your fullest life. And if you're not living it now, you might wake up at 65 and be like, oh man, what did I do for my 65 years? Now I don't want to work this job. Maybe now I don't want to be, I'm not fulfilled in this relationship. So it's your responsibility essentially to check in with yourself, to make sure that you're working on yourself. Because if you don't, the universe will tell you eventually. So, yeah.
Exactly. Um, Basically, sadly, it's all the time we have for today. The last thing I definitely want our viewers to know, I mean, viewers, my goodness gracious, audience and listeners and my people. Because
Viewers,
I was
yeah,
saying
listeners.
viewers.
Yeah,
Everyone,
either way, you
essentially.
guys are awesome. Family, our family to
Family,
know.
yeah, definitely. We're a
Family.
community. I keep saying viewers, is that because I'm seeing your face as
Yeah,
I
I
say
know.
it. I'm like, oh,
It's
wait
like
a second, wait, hold
tripping.
on. No, it's a podcast. Anyway, so sorry. Hashtag not sorry. Seriously though, you wanted to announce something for your page, I know, and your YouTube and
Yeah.
your mentoring. So I'm
Yeah.
giving you a little
So
bit
there's a
of
couple of things
yeah.
going on. So the first thing is I do social media mentoring for conscious creatives and business owners as well. So I really, really, really try to, work my best with specifically that type of people because I feel like that's what we need more of on social media. And there's a lot of going back to what I mentioned with you guys about, being super spiritual and manifesting and everything, but not being strategic or vice versa. So being able to help those to balance the two, whether it's inner work, whether it's, disbeliefs that you have within yourself, to all the way to the strategy of learning how to use social media best for you. So it's a great, amazing program. It's personalized, it's one on one, and it's really 70% of it's talking about how to build your platform, and really taking the things I learned over the past 7 years and teaching you guys on that, as well as energetic healing and personal support. So I do bring in a lot of my Reiki and just like meditation knowledge in there to help you guys to make sure that you are balanced within yourself, so you can serve in your business as well as your life and the people that you serve as customers or clients or mentees or your tribe. So it's awesome. It's really exciting. If you guys are interested in that, you can see on the website there'll be a link where you can have a free session with me for 30 minutes, and we can chat and get to know each other and see if that aligns with you. And that is what is the most important part for me, is making sure that we can serve each other to help you on your journey. And the last thing is, I told you guys at the beginning about the series for YouTube, so I'm starting that on my next trip. It's so exciting. I'm actually announcing it here, so it's like kind of, ooh, okay. So I'm super pumped about that, and it's about conscious traveling. So I'm going to be continuing my energetic healing journey, as well as knowledge in that space, and just furthering it so I can really support people in many ways in some extra other announcements to come. So I'm going to be taking you guys along to come and see that journey, the good, the bad, the excitement, the kind of the freeing moments, all of that stuff. I'm going to be taking you guys with me. And just really, hopefully, this is my biggest goal, is to heighten your consciousness so you guys can do the inner work for yourself, and to also be part of an amazing supportive family. So if that's something that tickles your fancy, please do check the YouTube channel. I'd love to have you guys be
Exactly.
part of that. And yeah, it's all about love, light, positivity there, and just really allowing you guys to have a free space to just help you in all ways of your life. So yeah, I'm really excited for that.
So we're excited for you, obviously. I'm so excited when you told me that
Yay.
you're doing this conscious traveling. I know
Yeah,
more about this. Thank you for announcing it here, of course. We're excited to see all your trips. So definitely check her out on her
it's so
YouTube.
fun.
Her
And
page, obviously,
Instagram
like
too.
it's always gonna be it's her place to go, Shika Chica.
Yeah,
And of course, you have all the links down below, logically so. But regardless of that,
yeah.
right now, your Instagram, her YouTube, obviously,
Yeah, you can check me out on Instagram. It's at
definitely
Shika_Chica. It's the same. It's Shika Chica on
everywhere.
YouTube,
Yeah, exactly.
everywhere. So yeah, and it's shikachica.com for the website. So you guys can get all that information there. But like I said, it's just a place where I want you guys to feel a different sense of content, to scroll on your feed and see some positivity or take
Exactly.
away
Yeah.
from it. And I think we need more of that. So
This is
that's
why.
the shift that I'm really making, is really going into conscious traveling. And I've been traveling for years now, but the more I'm doing inner work, the more I see how the benefit of traveling has allowed me to change, thanks to a lot of things, which you guys will get into in the series.
Exactly. And that's like we said before, one of the main reasons why we connected, because we just want to spread more positivity in this world, and this includes social media, of course, and helping
Yeah.
people. So thank you very much for being here today. Thank you for being part of
Yay.
Team Flyer. You can also find her, basically, Dear Team Flyer, at our Facebook group. But we have a free group. It's the Always Believer community, and she
Super
posts
fun.
there as lot, and you can talk to her there, because that's just like a huge family that we have online
There's
that's
amazing people
growing.
that are just like super supportive. I really like it. It's great. And it's just people, like, if you like our vibe, it's like times many of us on there just sharing and
Exactly.
supporting each other.
And
So I
that's free.
definitely
We have
suggest it.
loads going on here at the Always Believer as well, apart from that one. But that's a good start for you. And not in the newsletter. I mean, you always get a lot of like behind the scenes and freebies through the newsletter. So thank you very much for joining us once again and here for
Yay.
today's conversation of manifestation.
I'm so happy
And
too.
yeah, just let us know. We're always here. We're always welcoming you to talk to us, of course. So drop
Yeah.
the
And let
comments,
us know what you
subscribe, send
guys
the
want to
love.
see. Yeah, that'd be great. I'm so happy. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you guys to listening. And like we said, let us know what topics you would like us to cover in the future.
Exactly. Have a beautiful day. Bye.
Bye.